Brother and Chief Justice Designate of the High Court of Karnataka, Mr. Justice N.V.Anjaria and his family members, my esteemed brother and sister judges, Shri Kamal Trivedi, Learned Advocate General, Shri Manisha Lavkumar, Learned Advocate General, Shri Mitesh Amin, Learned Additional Advocate General, Shri Brijesh Trivedi, President and other office bearers of the Gujarat High Court Advocates Association, learned senior advocates, learned members of the bar, learned Registrar General and other registrars of the High Court, officers of the registry, media personnel, ladies and gentlemen. We have assembled here today to bid an affectionate farewell to the senior-most judge, Brother Justice N.V.Anjaria, who adorned the bench of this court for a period of more than 12 years. We take pride in the appointment of Brother Justice Anjaria as the Chief Justice of the High Court of Karnataka. Justice Anjaria hails from Mandavi, Kutch, which was a world-class, world-famous port in the old times. He was born on 23rd March 1965 at Ahmedabad to Srimati Devyani N.V.Anjaria and Sri Vipin Chandra N. Anjaria. He completed his school education from Shet GT High School at Mandavi, Kutch, obtained a bachelor's degree from HL College of Commerce, Ahmedabad, passed LLB from Sir L.A. Shah Law College in 1988, joined LLM, Commercial Group of Subjects in 1988 at Sir L.A. Shah College and obtained master's degree in law in 1989 from University School of Law, Ahmedabad. The forefathers and grandfather of Justice Anjaria were also in legal profession ever since the time when Kutch was a Part C state. His grandfather, Sri Subodh Chand Anjaria, was in active and principled public life who refused the post of advisor to the Chief Commissioner of Kutch on principles. His father, Shri Vipin Chand S. Anjaria, was in law practice at Mandavi and District Court Kutch for almost 5 decades. He had also served in the judiciary as a civil judge and assistant judge for some time, but left the post because of some family circumstances. Justice Anjaria started practice in the High Court of Gujarat in August 1988 by joining the chamber of late Shri S. N. Shelit, senior advocate. He handled matters involving constitutional issues, civil, labor, and service cases. He was standing counsel, panel advocates for the High Court and District Courts, State Election Commission, Gujarat Information Commission, Gujarat Industrial Development Corporation, and some municipalities. Justice Anjaria conducted several town planning matters. He appeared on behalf of persons affected due to the devastating earthquake in the district of Kutch and in the state of Gujarat. He was a trained mediator and has contributed to the growth of the High Court Mediation Center. Justice Anjaria was awarded Research Fellowship in 1992 by late Sri Naveen Chand Desai Foundation, Ahmedabad, for his research thesis on the subject, freedom of speech and expression with reference to media. He rendered his services as Honorary Associate Editor in Gujarat Law Herald. Justice Anjaria has a keen interest in arts and literature. He has a good command over both the languages, Gujarati and English. He has contributed several articles, write-ups on the legal and constitutional subjects published in books, law journals. His article titled as High Court of Gujarat, Advent and Ascent was published in the Souvenir of the High Court of Gujarat on the occasion of the Golden Jubilee year in April 2010. Since his college days, Justice Anjaria has cultivated a keen interest in the skill of writing. He penned and got published light humorous essays and articles in Gujarat Daily and literary magazines. He also penned down poems, short stories, etc., both in Gujarati and English. During his college days, he used to script dramas which were aired on the All India Radio. Justice Anjaria married Mrs. Pragati Anjaria, daughter of Sri Ishwar Bhai S. Dave, who was a civil judge and served the legal field. His wife is a homemaker, providing a consistent support to him in his journey of life. The couple is blessed with a son, namely Mr. Manya Anjaria, who is a practicing advocate of this court. Justice Anjaria was elevated as the additional judge of High Court of Gujarat on 21st November 2011 and was confirmed as a permanent judge on 6 September 2013. He rendered his valuable services as chairman, High Court Legal Services Committee from 26/6/2022 till 16/2/2023. He is the president of the Gujarat High Court Arbitration Center from 27/6/2022 onwards. Since 5/8/2022, under the able leadership of Justice Anjaria as the executive chairperson of the Gujarat State Legal Services Authority, two Lok Adalats were held, where record number of around 10 lakhs and odd cases were disposed of. The projects held during his executive chairmanship include inspection visit to Psycho-Socio Care Center at Sabarmati Central Jail, inauguration of Psycho-Socio Care Center at 3 central jails in the state of Gujarat. They are Rajkot, Surat, and Vadodara. Inauguration of vocational instrumental music therapy course at Sabarmati Central Jail, 40 hours mediation training course, program for 55 advocates of 11 small districts in the state, clinical professional training to the paralegal volunteers under Nirbhaya Brigade, visit to Signal School and Sports Days, Day of Children in Signal School, drawing painting workshop, namely strokes for children of officers and staff members of the High Court of Gujarat on Gandhi Jayanti, installation of a stall at the flower show at Sabarmati Riverfront, first mega legal service camp at Ambaji, training of PLVs for women empowerment, and 2 days advocacy skills training program for legal aid defense counsels. All these works of Justice Anjaria are documented and can be found in one or other paper. However, there are other numerous works and tasks undertaken by him on the administrative side, being administrative unit judge of various districts in the state of Gujarat and as a member of the standing committee and a number of administrative committees in the High Court and as the senior most judge of this court. The list is endless. Also, it will be difficult to spell out plethora of judgments which will bear testimony to his exemplary judicial acumen. I would like to state few of them. In Manish Bhai Nayan Bhai versus Vadodara Municipal Corporation, it was held that even though the petitioner was a fixed period employee, without giving the petitioner a full-fledged opportunity to defend, and thus by holding a regular departmental inquiry, the employee is not allowed to hire and fire the employer. It was held that if the temporary, ad hoc, or probation employee is driven out of service on the ground of misconduct without holding inquiry, a stigma is cast on his career by the punitive order. The termination was thus set aside. In Patel Dharmesh Bhai Naran Bhai versus Dharmendra Bhai Praveen Bhai, the meat shops and slaughterhouses were closed by authorities due to failure to comply with licensing and regulatory norms, food and safety standards. It was held that right to safe food is a fundamental right guaranteed under the Constitution of India. Thus, the intervention was not called for by the court when it comes to abiding by food safety norms. However, norms compliant shops were permitted to run their business. In Manu Bhupendra Singh Atwal versus Neeraj Kumar Pal Shah, the issue was pertaining to the maintainability of the application under Section 9 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996. The question was as to whether the said application was required to be entertained when arbitral tribunal is already constituted by the parties and the applicant has taken recourse to remedy under Section 17 of the Arbitration Act. It was held that, I quote, the said application filed by the applicant invoking Section 9 of the Arbitration Act when new arbitral tribunal was already constituted. Members of tribunal and presiding arbitrator were appointed by the parties. Application under Section 17 of the Arbitration Act of the applicant was also pending. Thus, present proceedings could be said to be hardly bona fide and partakes abuse of process of law. Application dismissed, unquote. In ICC Lambert, General Insurance Company Limited versus Chavda, Gamat Bain, Galabhai and others, it was held. While interpreting the principles of pay and recover under the Motor Vehicles Act, I quote, undoubtedly, the purpose and object of Motor Vehicles Act is beneficial to accord compensatory benefit to the persons who either injured or died in a vehicular accident. It subserves a social beneficial purpose, keeping in view this and considering other attendant aspects of the case, the court deems appropriate to apply the pay and recover doctrine, I quote. In Commissioner of Customs and Excise, the issue was whether tribunal committed substantial error of law in interpreting the provisions contained in the proviso to Section 11, capital A of the Central Excise Act 1944. It was held that assessee had on its own brought to the knowledge of the department the fact about the clearance of the goods to its sister unit without duty before the date of visit to the officers who had noticed such clandestine clearance. Assessee's conduct was candid and therefore bona fide. There was no element of intentional evasion, thus the appeal of the department was dismissed. Justice Anjaria is known for his simplicity and humble manners. His commitment towards his duties is inspirational. Because of his ever light mood and down-to-earth attitude towards life, he is popular amongst his staff and officers in the registry. My association with Brother Justice Anjaria is since my joining in this High Court. During this period of about 7 months, he has created an indelible impression in my mind regarding his virtues and illustrious career as a judge of this court. Though short, but it seems that we are colleagues since our first day on the bench, that is 21st November 2011. I and Justice Anjaria took oath on the same day in two different directions, north and west of the country, but we were destined to work together. Snatching this moment on a personal note, I must acknowledge that my transition to this High Court has been smooth because of him. During our 2 weeks of initial sittings on the bench in the first court, Brother Justice Anjaria smoothly sailed me through the practices and traditions of this court without even letting me know or pointing out something specifically. He has been a great colleague, friend, philosopher, and guide for me, both on the judicial side or as well as on administrative side. I could find simple solutions for serious issues in his advices. He made my task so easy. We took oath on the same day as the judges of the high courts, and he is senior to me in age and in the common seniority list. Exhibiting magnanimity, he has played the role of a big brother and has been more than a colleague throughout. I must express my deep sense of gratitude to Justice Anjaria for being a consistent support. His contributions to the growth of this institution are immense. His popularity amongst bar can be witnessed from the presence in the gallery. Brother Justice Anjaria will be moving from the city of Ahmedabad and the state of Gujarat tomorrow to take charge of his new assignment in the state of Karnataka. We all have a mixed feeling in the parting of Justice Anjaria, as we take pride in the fact that he is going to adorn the esteemed office of the Chief Justice of High Court of Karnataka. I take this opportunity to extend our heartfelt congratulations to Brother Justice Anjaria and bid him a warm and affectionate farewell. On my behalf and on behalf of all my brother and sister judges, as also the state judiciary, the High Court, and the state of Gujarat will miss him badly, and so will I personally. It is again to the state of Karnataka and to us as well, as Justice Anjaria will be representing the High Court of Gujarat on the canvas of the Indian judiciary. On this occasion, we wish him all the very best for his new assignment as the Chief Justice of the Karnataka High Court. I also wish him and his family members good health and happiness.
Honorable the Chief Justice and all the Honorable Judges of the High Court of Gujarat, Srimati Pragati Ben and Manya N.V.Anjaria, my learned colleagues, Additional Advocate Generals Manisha Ben and Mitesh Bhai, President and other office bearers of the Gujarat High Court Advocates Association, Registrar General and other registrars of the High Court and officers of the registry, learned senior advocates and members of the legal fraternity of the state, and invited dignitaries and guests. We have gathered here today to bid farewell to Honorable Mr. Justice N.V.Anjaria at the time of his well-deserved elevation as the Chief Justice of the Karnataka High Court. On behalf of the bar and the legal profession in the state, I associate myself with the profound feelings of affection expressed by Honorable the Chief Justice. A humble and perceptive personality, Justice N.V.Anjaria has sterling qualities of a forthright and independent judge. His Lordship's approach in and outside the courtroom reminds me of candid remarks once made by Justice Frankfurter of US Supreme Court with reference to independent judiciary. I quote, "These are the persons whom the lust of office does not kill. These are the persons whom the spoils of office cannot buy. These are the persons who possess opinions and a will. These are the persons who stand before a demagogue and damn their treacherous flatteries without winking." I unquote. As referred to by our Ladyship Honorable the Chief Justice, born on 23rd March 1965 at Ahmedabad, to Srimati Devyani Ben and Sri Vipin-Chandra-Anjaria, Sri Nilabhai did his schooling from Shed GT High School at his native Mandvi, Kutch. Sri Nilabhai's unwavering grit and determination was discernible since childhood, as he appeared for SSC examination even though his grandfather had passed away on the very first day of exams. Hardworking and studious, Sri Nilabhai achieved the highest mark in Gujarati subject in the state, whereafter he pursued graduation from HL College of Commerce, Ahmedabad. Tersely referring to the golden words of an English poet, William Wordsworth, who had once said in one of his poems that the child is the father of the man. It means a precocious child shows us to what kind of man he is inevitable to be in future. Born in family of lawyers, Justice Anjaria was also destined to leave a mark in legal profession. Since the time when Kutch was Part C state, his Lordship's forefathers and grandfather were part of the legal profession. His Lordship's father was also from the legal fraternity who had practiced at Madhvi and also in district court Kutch for many decades. And during this period, he also served the judiciary as a civil judge and was thereafter promoted as assistant judge. The legal atmosphere within the family guided Justice Anjaria as he embarked on his journey and entered into the legal profession in the year 1988 after obtaining LLB degree from Sir Elisha Law College, Ahmedabad, and thereafter obtained master's degree in law in 1989 from University School of Law, Ahmedabad. Justice Anjaria married Srimati Pragati Ben, daughter of Sri Ishwarbai S. Dave, who was also a civil judge and thereafter served the legal field. After having been enrolled as an advocate in the Bar Council of Gujarat in August 1988, a young and soft-spoken lawyer entered our bar, and everyone took note of his smiling and affable persona. This young lawyer was none other than his lordship, who had joined the chamber of late Sri S.N. Shelar, senior advocate and former advocate general. As a lawyer, Sri Nilabai extensively conducted matters involving constitutional issues, service matters, and practically all civil issues. He had also been a panel advocate for several institutions, was a standing counsel for the High Court and the subordinate courts, State Election Commission, Gujarat Information Commission, Gujarat Industrial Development Corporation, various municipalities, and so on. Besides advocacy in courts, Sri Nilabai is an ardent lover of arts, a deep thinker, and a great writer. Interestingly, since his childhood days, Sri Nilabai has keen interest in writing, whereby he authored numerous essays, articles, poems, and short stories in Gujarati and English, and the same were published in various magazines. Sri Nilabai's command over Gujarati as well as English language has been so natural and lucid that anyone would like to read his writings again and again. During college days, he wrote scripts of dramas which were aired on All India Radio. His regular contribution in a weekly supplement of Gujarati newspaper called Gujarat Samachar, carrying a column under the caption of Hinchke Betha, had gained tremendous popularity amongst the Gujarati readers. Even after entering the profession, Sri Nilabai continued to nurture the passion of writing and was actively engaged in academic writing. In 1992, late Sri N.V.Anjaria Desai Foundation, Ahmedabad, awarded Justice Anjaria a research fellowship on freedom of speech and expression with reference to media. He was also the honorary associate editor of Gujarat Law Herald and also published articles and write-ups on constitutional and various issues on various books and law journals. Sri Nilabai was elevated as additional judge of this High Court on 21st November 2011 and confirmed as permanent judge on 6 September 2013. As a judge of this High Court for a period of more than 12 years, Justice Anjaria had several occasions to deal with varied issues of law, wherein landmark judgments were handed down, a list whereof is unending. But each of them bespeaks about the pragmatic approach of an experienced judge. Honorable the Chief Justice has already referred to some of the important judgments handed down by Justice Anjaria. Let me refer to a few more, showing utmost concern for the society as a whole. In Sitaram Sugars versus Allied Industries Limited versus Baroda Central Cooperative Bank, reported in 2015, SCC Online Gujarat 6296, His Lordship held that the Registration Act is a complete code in itself, and the registering officers, being creatures of the statute, cannot consider any ground other than those which are expressly stated in the Act, and hence cannot refuse to register a document by going into the aspects relating to title of the property or legality of transaction. In Kolsani Sai Yashwanath Reddy versus State of Gujarat, reported in AR 2015, Gujarat 188, an amended rule of Gujarat Professional Medical Education Courses Rules of 2015 was challenged, which accorded preferential treatment to non-resident Indians domiciled in Gujarat as against the earlier rule, which had treated all non-resident Indians at par with competition on the basis of merit. The challenge on the touchstone of Article 14 of the Constitution was upheld, and the rule was read down to allow the admission as per the old rule, where only merit is taken into account and not the domicile. In case of Kalyan Janta Sahkari Bank Limited versus State of Gujarat, reported in 2016, SCC Online Gujarat 848, the provision of Sardar Sarovar Narmada Nigam, Conferment of Power to Redeem Bonds Act 2008, on the basis of which Sardar Sarovar Nigam Limited redeemed deep discount bonds before maturity, was held to be illegal and unconstitutional, on the ground that the said act does not fall within entry 43 of the state list, being public debt of the state, or under entry 20 in the concurrent list, being economic and social planning, to the 7th schedule of the Constitution. Because the field was already occupied by central legislations like Contract Regulation Act and the SEBI Act. However, while so holding, the consequential relief of paying the loss or damages as paid for by the petitioners was not granted on the ground that the same would require leading of evidence, which prayer cannot be granted in a rich jurisdiction. In Chetan Jantilal Rajgor versus State of Gujarat, decided on 8th May 2019, in special civil application number 4439 of 2017, His Lordship set aside a termination order which was solely based on an FIR filed against the petitioner under the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, while observing that mere issuance of a notice without framing of a charge or conducting an inquiry or without putting the petitioner to knowledge of the allegations to be answered was in violation of principles of natural justice, whereby the respondents were directed to reinstate the petitioner on the original post with constitutional benefits. And lastly, in case of State Industrial Corporation versus Gujarat Rural Industries Marketing Corporation Limited, decided on 20th December 2023 in special civil application number 20115 of 2023, His Lordship, heading the division bench, declined to set aside a tender inquiry after cancelling the earlier one in the matter of procurement of bicycles. It was held that cancellation of the condition in the previous tender inquiry and floating a new tender inquiry with amended condition had definite rationale and object, and that the extra urge on the part of the courts to readily exercise the power of judicial review has to be avoided, since it may have the effect of negating the large public interest or may hold back or delay the public interest or community interest project. Besides judicial work, Justice Anjaria was actively involved in administrative roles. His Lordship was nominated as Chairman, High Court Legal Services Committee on 26 June 2022 till 16 February 2023. And on 27 June 2022, became the President of the Gujarat High Court Arbitration Center, Domestic and International. On 5th August 2022, Justice Anjaria started serving as Executive Chairman of the Gujarat State Legal Services Authority. And during the state chairmanship, Lok Adalat was held on 9 September 2023, when around 6,41,000 cases were disposed of. And thereafter, on 9 December 2023, 4,50,000 cases were disposed of. This apart, His Lordship had put on many hats, as was referred to by the Honorable the Chief Justice. Behind the known assuming and the resolved face of His Lordship, one discovers a sensitive, subtle, and sincere, but at the same time, also a transparent, assertive, and witty human being who is full of warmth, courage, and conviction. A great believer in providence and theory of karma, Sri Nilebai strongly believes in following a Roman maxim, res ipsa liquitor, means let things speak for themselves rather than engaging in self-praise. What is narrated in Brihad Aranya Upanishad aptly applies to His Lordship. I quote, Kamamaya evayam purusha iti sa yatha kamo bhavati tat krutru bhavati. Yata krutra bhavati tata karma kurute. Yata karma kurute tada abhisama pratayat. Meaning thereby, you are what your deep and driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. And as your deed is, so is your destiny. From now onwards, His Lordship will not be sitting in the courtroom of our High Court of Gujarat. But I may assure that litigants in the state will remain grateful for the manner in which and the spirit with which Honorable Justice Anjaria had strived in achieving the goal of dispensing fair and impartial justice. At this stage, if I were to express the feelings of our bar for His Lordship in a form of a Hindi couplet, I would say like this. क्या बताऊं खूबियां आपकी विदाई पर, क्या बताऊं खूबियां आपकी विदाई पर, महकता था दिन आपके मुस्कुराने पर. जहां भी हो आप, रहो कामयाबी की मिसाल पर, लेकिन अधूरा लगेगा हमें आपको जाने पर. While concluding, I pray Almighty to bestow upon His Lordship the radiant health, strength, and zeal to carry out the arduous assignment His Lordship is going to undertake, and wish him every success in discharging his responsibilities to illumine justice and humanize law. Thank you very much.
Honorable the Chief Justice and other honorable judges of the High Court, learned Advocate General, learned Additional Advocate General, learned Registrar, my dear friends, office bearers, learned senior advocates, family members of Justice Anjaria, my dear senior friend, Mr. Justice Anjaria. Nothing બોલું છું. my dear senior friend, Mr. Justice Anjaria, who was my senior in the college. And I had the benefit to know him when I joined the college, along with Justice Biren Vaishnav, who was also my senior. The most difficult task is to judge a controversy between two parties and try to satisfy both. While we as advocate judge the judges on daily basis, which is much easier than that judging a controversy. The real taste of a good judge is to hear the matters, apply the latest legal pronouncements on the subject, and to remain constantly updated about the latest decisions of the highest court and to read in between the lines on occasions to arrive at a decision which is proper as per his own view and the law. The fact that the above requires in-depth knowledge of human nature, great amount of reading of law and literature, and most important of all, a patient hearing to both contesting sides. Justice Anjaria, who hails from a family of advocates, fortunately possesses a quality which is nowadays becoming a rarity. What with the mounting number of pendency of matters and constant pressure to reduce the backlog without there being any help from the power which is supposed to fill the number of vacancies, and in fact, with growing awareness about the laws amongst the litigants, the need to at least double the strength of judges across the country. By backlog, pressure is mounting every day. The same never became a hurdle in dispensing the justice in the court of Justice Anjaria. An ever-smiling judge, Justice Anjaria always kept the atmosphere light in his court, but with a firmness which, when used, kept everyone in check. While this is a very important moment in the career of Justice Anjaria, and we will feel proud and happy and also wish that his lordship soon achieve the ultimate elevation and adorn the seat of the Honorable Supreme Court of India. The void created by the elevation of his lordship will be difficult to fill soon. Justice Frank Porter, a great jurist, while speaking on of the function of the judges of the Supreme Court of United States, said this, and I quote, "What is important is the tilt of a judge's mind, his conception of the nature of his function, and the depth of his convictions. It is a matter of goal and tendency, not of absolutes. Some insist that regardless of what a judge should do, he cannot long escape his own sense of justice, that is his own bias. Fortunately, in Justice Anjaria, we have a judge who never permitted any bias to take over his judicial conscience. Justice Anjaria practiced on all branches of law, as we have heard from the Honorable the Chief Justice and the Learned Advocate General. Well, in practice and as a judge, he delivered excellent judgments in almost all branches of civil and criminal law. His vast experience and reading are an asset with which his lordship will certainly put his mark in his new assignment, and we hope that soon the entire nation will have a very good judge at the Supreme Court of India, as his lordship has a very long tenure, and we wish that the same happens soon enough. I, on my own behalf, as also on behalf of Gujarat High Court Advocate Association and all my colleagues, wish his lordship a great future and all success in life.
Nostalgia has already gripped me.
Hmm.
I don't think I can speak. Yes, I can cry. But this is not the place where any of you will permit me to cry. But still, I will cry through my words. Honorable the Chief Justice of the High Court of Gujarat, a distinguished sister, Mrs. Sunita Agarwal, dear sisters and brother judges of this High Court, Learned Advocate General Sri Kamalbhai Trivedi, known for his forceful arguments and flowery speeches, Learned Additional High Court Generals Ms. Manika Blaukumar and Mr. Mitesh Bhai Amin, both always smiling. Learned Additional Solicitor General not present because he belongs to two states, Gujarat and Maharashtra. The President of the Gujarat High Court Association, Mr. Brijesh Trivedi, the office bearers, the Registrar General, the staff present, respected senior advocates, from whom I have learned the law and the nuances of law. Advocate friends and beloved junior lawyers, those who spoke just before unleashed a praise on me. In that regard, I want to deliver my final judgment. All such judgment is this: all such praises are meritless. Rule is discharged. It was on a day I am not exactly remembering, but immediately after 29th July 1988, which was my date of Sanat, that I landed in the old High Court compound at 10:45 a.m. in a brown-colored, you'll be remembering, old Maruti Omni, owned by my senior. My senior drove me to bring me to this institution. It was a journey from Mandvi to Ahmedabad. My father and my senior were hostel mates. That is how I could join the office of Sri Suresh Paishalat. As a raw novice, I could never imagine to talk to my senior. But at the end of the first day of mine in the court, when the files were being reloaded in the car, I was told by Suresh Bhai, and I quote by translating in English, "This is an ocean," into quotes. "This is an ocean. You have to swim all along. Work would never end." Then he added, "Jetlu thaya tetlu karvan." Even today, I am learning how to swim. The juncture today is to recount my memories. The memories cannot be digested. The memories have to be chewed constantly. They were not the days like present times. The law graduates used to enter the profession with 3-star super fineness as today, and they start arguing and earning immediately. Legal profession in those times, when we entered, was an occupation with long gestation period. I wandered in the courtrooms and corridors, in the premises and precincts of the old High Court building, almost for 3 years, just watching and listening to understand the court and the court proceedings. Then a day dawned. My senior filed a second appeal in my name and asked me that I would be entirely handling the case and arguing the same. It was a second appeal involving partition dispute. The court was of Honorable Mr. Justice I.C. Bhatt. Sri Satyajit Desai, my office colleague, now senior advocate, accompanied me to sit beside me in the court. Our clerk Mohan Bhai became a soldier, carrying bunch of papers with him, knowing fully well that we judges only ask unknown queries and want papers which are not available with the advocate. Appeal was called out. I stood up, started submitting. The Honorable Court said, "What is the substantial question of law?" My feet started shivering. I could not maintain the eye contact with the judge. The judge again remarked, "This is second appeal." I made a show that I was searching from my file, but in vain. My instructing counsel, Sri Satyajit Desai, stood up and told the court about the page to be referred on which the substantial question of law was framed. He added that this was my maiden appearance. Second appeal was admitted and stay was granted. The entire battalion left the court without smiling face. But my face was not smiling. Even today, I continue to grope in dark when handle the second appeal and search the substantial question of law. On the very day, just behind the first courtroom of the old court building, my senior gave me 500 rupees and said, "This is your fees exclusive of clerkage. You don't have to pay the clerkage." It was my first earning of the career. In this High Court, I have been fortunate to have more than one fatherly figures. The Doyen of the Bar, late Sri Giriraj Desai, selected me for giving research fellowship set up by his father's trust, Sri N.V.Anjaria Desai Law Foundation. Coincidentally, the research fellowship was awarded to me by Justice Venkatchalia, who hails from Karnataka. Late Sri P.M. Raval, not knowing me, still asked me to prepare a public interest litigation to challenge the virus of the Gujarat local bodies temporary postponement of election act, whereby the elections to the municipal corporations and municipalities in the state were indefinitely postponed in spite of the provisions of 73rd and 74th Amendment of the Constitution. VIL was laid before the first court headed by the then Chief Justice, Justice B.N. Kirpal. I was greatly encouraged in course of the conducting the matter and also subsequently, appointing me to be the commissioner to visit the Sulpaneswar sanctuary to investigate into allegations that bamboo trees were illegally cut to be used for a paper industry. It was a rare, memorable experience. It was 2nd and 3rd February 1994. In those days, senior advocates Sri S.B. Vakil, Sri K.S. Nanavati, Sri P.M. Thakkar, Sri N.D. Nanavati, Sri Saurabh Soparkar, and all those I may have forgotten to name, uplifted me in various ways. The time passed by with blink of an eye. During Natal days in the year 2010, I was called by the then Chief Justice S.J. Mukhopadhyay and was invited to bench. Soon became the judge of this High Court. Justice Bhaskar Bhattacharya, the Chief Justice, administered oath to make me functional in my office. The destiny played a humor. During my practice, I had never conducted criminal appeal, even a single criminal appeal. However, the first sitting given to me was in criminal appeal. But it was a blessing in disguise to start learning. My first sharing of bench was with Justice D.H. Waghela, who was always succinct and focused in his approach and used to tell and teach me while on bench the niceties of the jail administration, about the principles of criminal law, and about the principles of sentencing, and about everything which I would have needed in those initial days. Late Justice R.K. Abhichandani's quick-wittedness was inherited by Justice Waghela. Justice Abhichandani once make me stood up to argue. All of a sudden, on behalf of the State Election Commission in a heavily contested latest patent appeal relating to the Porbandar municipality. When I sat with Justice L. Dave, I knew his neck of looking with Arjun's eyes to a sentence in the evidence, which alone could become the basis for conviction or acquittal of the accused. Shared the bench with Justice R.R. Tripathi, who always adopted justice-oriented approach. While sitting with Justice V.M. Sahai, I tried to learn income tax and in wrote judgments, even though I was new to the income tax regime. Those were the days when Justice J.M. Panchal and Justice C.K. Thakkar, former judges of the Supreme Court, always showed good wishes on me. From Honorable Mr. Justice M.R. Shah and from Honorable Mr. Justice Kalpesh Jhaveri, lessons were learned by me how to conduct the long boards and control the court effectively. From every judge of this High Court, past or present, I have a tip of learning, expressly or otherwise. The blessings of my grandfather, Subodh Chandra A. Anjaria, continued and have always stayed. The silent blessings of my father and mother traveled alongside me throughout. I pay respect to my father-in-law and all other family members for standing besides me. The journey took me to become a senior judge of this High Court. Now I want to tell my own truth. A judge who claims to do justice to all only does injustice to his wife and family. My successful tenure of judgeship is on account of Pragati's perseverance and incessant love. When court work or administrative meetings used to last long, she used to send me messages. કેટલા વાગશે? ક્યારે આવીશ? I had no answer. I don't know this is the occasion and place or not, but I thank her for giving me a long life gift. The gift is my carbon copy. No, it is not a carbon copy. It is a scanned copy. My son Manya has in-depth understanding of the things since his childhood. There were many elders from whom I learned the things in person life and in professional life. Sri Mayurbhai Pandya, senior advocate, used to teach me that always make a distinction between orders and judgments. The judgments should not be like orders and vice versa. This advice I learned by heart and implemented. On dais, I wrote judgments. Of the dais, I penned down few poems also. Also ghazals. The way I could. May I share a poem written by me, where the thoughts became poetic, relating to our court culture and the institution of the court. It is in Gujarat. ન્યાયની દેવીને આતે કેવો ચડાવો. ચડાવો is, the બોલી. ન્યાયની દેવીને આતે કેવો ચડાવો. અહીં વકીલની ફી, ત્યાં કેસોનો ભરાવો. કરીને ભેગો બધો વિલંબ તમે તોળાવો. યુ વે. કરીને બધો ભેગો વિલંબ તમે તોળાવો અને પછી ત્રાજવું બંને બાજુ નમાવો. વર્ષભર તારીખિયામાં જો પુરશીશો લટકાવો, વર્ષભર તારીખિયામાં જો પુરશીશો લટકાવો, શોધીને એમાંથી એકાદી સુનાવણી માટે રખાવો. જરૂર સાચવજો, જરૂર સાચવજો ગરડા ઘરમાં આ દાવો. ઓલ્ડ એજ હોમ. જરૂર સાચવજો ગરડા ઘરમાં આ જૂનો દાવો. પક્ષકારોમાંથી એકાદોને તો જીવતો બતાવો. પક્ષકારોમાંથી એકાદો તો મને જીવતો બતાવો. લખીને દિવસ રાત રોજ કામ, લખીને દિવસ રાત રોજ કામ. હવે બહુ થાક્યા. મુહૂર્ત શોધીને સારું ચુકાદો અંતિમ સુણાવો. મુહૂર્ત શોધીને સારું, મુહૂર્ત શોધીને સારું ચુકાદો અંતિમ સુણાવો. I think I'm going long, but let me. What I have expressed in poetic format is not the criticism of the system. It is a concern of a judge who himself a part of the system. I may now venture to some serious thoughts. Our institution is great. Full stop. The institution of judiciary badly needs a sincere commitment by all stakeholders. For judges, institutional commitment is a personal commitment. If one is loyal and honest in personal discharge of his duties, it is the best dissemination of service to the institution. It is the personal integrity which will ensure the institutional integrity. I believe that the worst blow to rule of law comes when any judge at any level in the judicial setup becomes unruly in his judicial behavior. The strength of the strongest pillar of the democracy lies in the observance of judicial ethics, independence, and uprightness. This is my humble belief and message. All journeys are not voyage, but my journey in this High Court from 29 July 1998 till date has been a real voyage. The Chief Justice Vikram Nath has a unique personality. I am still at a loss whether he was a Chief Justice or a close friend. Indeed, both. Justice Belaben Trivedi always inspired me. I learned work culture from Justice J.B. Parriwala, the then Chief Justice. Justice Arvind Kumar was a great disciplinarian. All are now adorning the bench of the Supreme Court. In this journey, Justice R.M. Chaya, retired judge of the Guwahati High Court, guided me at every stage and step, turning out to be an elder member of the family. Justice A.J. Desai and Justice A.J. Sastry became very dear friends. Justice Biren Vaishnav became blind in trusting me. Starting in reverse order, Justice Pranav Trivedi, Justice M.N. Roy, Justice Devan Desai, Justice Anirudh Mai, and Justice Ashok Joshi. Thank you, all of you, for your utmost participation with me upon your elevation to the bench. A special word for our Chief Justice, Ms. Sunita Agrawal. Her ladyship gave me intense and extensive participation as J1. I was never J1 before she took the reins of the High Court. In becoming J1, under her leadership, not only I got necessary experience, but I groomed myself. It is a debt I owe to the Chief Justice. The credit and the garlanding goes to my staff also. My Principal Private Secretary, Sri Bijoy Pillai, very efficient, trusted, and worked with brotherly bond. Private Secretary Mansiben Amin discharged duties with daughterly dedication. She has a virtuous habit of completing the work on the same day. Private Secretary Sri Chandrakant Joshi, enthusiastic and always caring. Court Master Sri Thomas Varghese, simple and straightforward. They became extended family during my journey. Sri Anup Parikh, also, who used to type orders and judgments with a lightning speed. Sri Harpale Bhai, Sri Bindu Ben, who worked as my court master, always committed to work, treating the court as their own court. Court attendants Mahesh Solanki, Gopal Bhai Chopdar, Kirit Bhai Chopdar, home attendants Sri Viral Bhai, Mayur Bhai, Raju Bhai, driver Sri Manoj Bhai, Sri Jatin Bhai Bhatt and Rakesh Jhala, who are the personal security officer of mine, all were active hands. I thank them all from bottom of my heart. All the officers in the registry, including Registrar General, if I name them, at the cost of leaving all, many, Sri Tyagi, Sri Odedra, Sri Rahul Trivedi, Sri Ukrani, Sri Vitlani, Sri Sanjay Suthar, Miss Nipa Ben Rawal, Miss Pawar, Sri Salil Nair in the protocol, Sri Kalpesh Thakur in the judges cell, their entire team, Sri Paresh Vyas, Jignesh Patel and his team. I remember all. Every judge and every lawyer, present or in past, has lived in me. My being is made of all of you. I am made of this High Court, every nook and corner of this High Court. Thank you.
Proceedings of the court would stand suspended for the rest of the day.